to remember from recording Bless for Miles. WSNC is sponsored in part by Piedmont Opera, presenting Hudson Campbell's Pulitzer Prize-winning opera Silent Night, an opera based on the true story of the Christmas truce of 1914, October 27th, 29th, and 31st at the Stevens Center of the University of North Carolina School of the Arts, downtown Winston-Salem. Tickets at 336-725-7101 or PiedmontOpera.org. It's 5:17. You're listening to Afternoon Jazz. I'm Jim Steele. In the studio with me this afternoon is an alumnus of Winston-Salem State University, class of 2007. He was student body president. Quentin DeBerry is his name. He's worn a lot of hats over the past 10 years. And for a young guy, he's learned a whole lot. But his learning process started very, very early, I understand, from just talking about your life. But welcome.
Hey, Jim, thanks for having me.
One of the things that really excited me about what's coming up, and this is not open to the public anyway, but this is a college campus. It's a campus that's part of the University of North Carolina school system, so it's public. So we want people to know, and we're excited when alumni from this department come back, and we're excited that so many of you are coming back for homecoming for a panel discussion that's coming up, and you've designed it just for undergraduates to give them inspiration and to help them in their professional development. So tell us what's going to happen and who's involved.
Absolutely. A few years ago, we began to formulate some of the conversation about what does the next generation of Winston-Salem State University leaders look like, and how do we prepare them to take our motto, which is enter to learn and depart to serve. And so as we come within a short weeks of our homecoming and our anniversary of the university, we decided to pull together some former colleagues and classmates and peers of mine that are doing well in their professional careers, as well as the local communities in which they live and thrive and serve in. And so we're bringing them back to have a very informative, intimate discussion about post-graduation and what that really, really means. Students are often taught that, hey, if I go to college, I'm going to get this $40,000, $50,000 job right after college. And so we want to give them a real reality of what's really happening in the marketplace, of how to interact with their new peers, how to strategize and reaching out, the importance of doing internships. And most importantly, the art of building meaningful and impactful relationships. I think sometimes we've turned it into just, hey, I'm going to use, and they are not building relationships. And so when they actually need an opportunity to call upon a friend, they don't have it because no one's really taught them the importance of really caring about that person, adding value to that person. And so that's what we're coming back to, really just have a real strong, intimate discussion. I'm really excited about each person that's on the panel. They each hold a special place in my heart today, as well as when I first met them. And I'm just so excited to join them as we share some wisdom and speak to the students in the coming weeks.
Quentin DeBerry, class of 2007, he and many of his schoolmates are coming back to Winston-Salem State University to throw a line out to the undergraduates and give them some wisdom and some inspiration about how to prepare for the workforce once they do graduate. And for someone as young as you are, you have learned a whole lot in a short period. But your biographical information says you started this learning process at a very, very young age. Today, you have your own company in Charlotte. Talk about what you do for yourself.
Yeah, Berry & Company, we're a social entrepreneurship company where the goal is to partner with both community stakeholders and Fortune 500 companies that want to develop relationships with the local communities that they are taking part in. For example, we're actually partnering with the Harris YMCA in Charlotte to do Y Readers on South Boulevard. So we're going to do a fundraiser partnering with the YMCA to raise money to give students an opportunity to read over the summer. If you didn't know that is the time where students lose majority of their information from what they've learned in the school year from the previous year. So we're an opportunity that we're going to buy books and have volunteers go out and read with these students over the summer so that when they return to school, they're on pace to keep up with their peers. And we know that low income communities, those kids are struggling with things that we sometimes don't see. So it's really about being engaged in the communities in which we live in. And so that's what Berry and Company is about. It's about social entrepreneurship. We're not shining away from the space of wanting to make money to actually live, but it's also about solving critical issues with our neighbors, partnering with people that you may have never partnered with before. I like to tell people we're a relationship company, about building bridges to get from point A to point B, and making sure that from a holistic leadership perspective that every stakeholder has their interests. I think my company is focused on all customers. That's the internal customer and the external customer.
Quentin DeBerry, class of 2007 at Winston-Salem State University. You and several of your classmates, all alumni from Winston-Salem State University, are coming back for homecoming week to talk with undergraduates about their soon-to-be profession in mass communications, and talk about the successes that you all have had over the past 10 years. And one of the things that it really hit me, Quentin, when you said class of 2007, it really hit me that you graduated on the eve of the Great Recession, most people would say depression, of 2008. That must have been overwhelming. I mean, did you go in it thinking this is going to be really rough, or was it just we just don't know what to expect with this? It was a bad period.
I couldn't agree more. It definitely was a bad period. I think for my generation, my demographics, my peers, my colleagues throughout the country, we had no idea what a Great Depression was. I think we were hearing it on TV, and I think like any other college student at that time, you were a superhero. You had just knocked out 4.5 years of college. You may have played a sport. You may have been involved in your campus community. You may have done an internship. And so recession, you had no idea what that word meant. Depression, you had no idea what that word meant. You just kind of went out in the workforce. And for me and myself, it was a reality check. It was a time where either you're going to get up and try to make it happen, or you're going to sit there and just sit there. And I decided to get up and try to make it happen. I actually moved to New York, and just by the grace of my creator, I was able to stay with an alum who had just recently moved to New York, not too long for. So he allowed me an opportunity to chase my dreams. So from a national perspective, I think that we had no idea what a Great Depression was.
Yeah, but how beautiful it was to learn that there was another alumnus there in New York that picked up the phone when you called, and you were there saying, I'm here.
Right.
And he had the grace to say, come on in.
It definitely was grace. Definitely was grace. I think our founder, Simon Green Atkins, was founded the university on enter to learn, depart to serve. And that word depart to serve has many meanings. And I think that's what it really meant to him. He said that this is a young person that I know who's out here trying to chase his dream. I'm obligated to serve him in this capacity, whatever I needed at that time. He lived that vision and values. And I think that's what makes Winston so unique. No matter where we go, I like to say that love is stronger than pride. Because love allows you to just open up. And so I just think that service part, that we all own it, from our neighbors across the state, from our neighbors across the country. Enter to learn, depart to serve really means something to us.
So that was one of the gifts that you were given, and you received it with grace as it was given, and you took it to heart. And now look at all of you coming back. 10 years later, you're coming back to talk with the undergraduates and give them some inspiration and some guidance, and say, hey, we made some of these mistakes, so you don't have to.
I think that's what it's all about. Is sharing those real life experiences, not this cookie cutter fairy tale that, hey, you're going to be great tomorrow. And I don't want to take that for granted, but there will be some students that's just how the cards are drawn. Sure. Where they works out like that. But for the majority, you're gonna hit some potholes. It's gonna be some days where you don't know where to turn or what to say. But our job and what we're coming back to do, and why I'm so excited about this group, is they've hit some of those brick walls. I've talked to some of them in their careers, and I've watched them
Yeah.
develop them from 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20-year-old young adults to kind of mature adults now. Understanding just money management, understanding the power of networking, understanding of following up on emails, understanding of honing in on your craft, of what you want to do, seeking perfection. And I think what I also enjoy about this group, they give me, and I'm able to give them honest, open, candid feedback. I think we've taken the word feedback and think that, oh, she or he is judging me, but these are people that I've allowed in my space to, hey, help me become a better person, and in return, they've asked me to help them become better people. And so that's why I'm excited about this group. They're going to be funny, they're going to be serious, but they're going to give the student a dose of reality of, hey, this is what the 21st century looks like. You have all the tools to be great, but it's up to you to utilize the tools that you've been given. We're here to just help coach you and develop you along the way.
Quentin DeBerry, class of 2007 at Winston-Salem State University. Winston-Salem State University, of course, honoring and celebrating its 125th year of service to the community and educating young people. And one of the things that visitors that come to this radio station, and when I'm walking across campus, one of the things that people say over and over again, how bright and how respectful and how talented the students are on this campus, because it's apparently all of your elders did well, or you did well by yourselves, because you do represent very well. I'll have to tell you that. That's the truth.
Thank you.
You survived the Great Depression recession of 2007.